I'm looking at this story. Look at it. This is called Dueling Headlines Between Different Perspectives. The Revolver.news is a conservative site, says New York City has an 83-year-old tranny murderer let out of prison is let into women's shelter where he kills yet again. That's the way the Revolver.news website frames this story. The New York Times says it as, how did a two-time killer get out to be charged again at age 83? Marceline Harvey is accused of dismembering a woman in Brooklyn. Her life was defined by a tormented relationship with women and herself and a simmering anger. Right? And of course, there are a lot of people who seem to be more obsessed with, again, getting the right pronoun right. The conservatives frame it as 83-year-old tranny murderer let out of prison is led into women's shelter where he kills yet again. There's a lot of people who have been conditioned in a Pavlovian way that when they see, a gender pronoun was misused here, they're more upset about that than the fact that someone is killing and being allowed to kill again in their hatred for women. That's why I talk about the leftist culture today is more worried about words than actual physical violence. They're more worried about, word games. That's why it's not fashionable to talk about equality. You got to talk about equity. Right? You can't talk about colorblind society. You got to talk about fragility, supremacy. What? It's stupid, right? And then you got people like Jill Biden, who's an esteemed doctor, we're told, right? You've got her going out there and saying Hispanics are as diverse as tacos, right? That sounds, but if you are Clarence Thomas and you're an independent thinking person and you happen to be African American, you're considered to be a white supremacist by the same people who say, yeah, Jill Biden can say whatever she wants. Why? Because it's not about the actual people that the leftist movement says that they speak for. It's about those who submit to their unquenchable power lust. Anybody who serves them and moving. So the reason why Joe Biden gets a pass is because her family helps move the ball forward just a little bit on some things for the leftist movement. You see? And that's why she gets a pass saying ridiculous things, whereas someone who is, a very serious thinker, intellectual like Clarence Thomas is called a white supremacist by these same clueless people. Because it's all about this postmodern, you use words to create friend-enemy distinctions, and then you pillory the person who's not in the friend category. You use every scoundrel technique in the book to smear and, muddy them up. Whatever it takes, like a bloodthirsty, hellhound, you go after them. And that's what happens when you have a society that doesn't believe in right or wrong, right? If you don't have any objective moral standards outside of humans, if your only appeal to morality is just political power, then political power can always be, twisted and moved where the wind blows to whatever fashion is going on or whatever, corrupt fake news story can be ginned up. You have to have something outside of humans in order to have a transcendent standard of what's right and wrong to ground a society. And then when you lose that, you end up becoming a society that's lost its mind about pronouns and not really that concerned about stopping violence. Why is it that George Soros continues to fund district attorneys that don't enforce violent crimes, laws against violent crimes? Meanwhile, the people I talk to in the criminal justice reform space say that his district attorneys are actually in the way of solving actual criminal justice reform, actually solving and reducing sentencing for nonviolent victimless crimes that need to be taken a look at. but they're being very easy. So people are still wasting away for decades for nonviolent victimless crimes in George Soros areas, but they're getting completely light sentences for actual violent crimes and theft.